Hello, hey, what's up? It's another day, again in the shop. I'll try and show less mundane stuff and just show the project that I am working on. And please remember, this is not a how-to channel, it's not a how-to videos. Take everything with a piece of huge grain salt. These are just the methods that I found are working for me. And if you are a knife maker and you know a better method, please do share. Write me a DM, shoot it in the comments. I'm fully open to do more effective work. So it's today the second part of the Kydex sheaths. We'll be making these little babies up until a specific part. Finally, I figured out that I am doing those in three parts of operations, basically three checkpoints. In the last episode, we made those butterflies, and this is the first checkpoint. Now the second will be doing the bend, or putting the eyelets, and doing a rough finish on the edges. And the third one will be just finishing the edges. So I will show you, tell at least a small part on the process, how I am finishing the edges and doing the bends. And again, I have a very nice flow in this second operation, because again, I find that the timing is perfect. When I heat up, while I'm heating up one part to be bent, I can put in the rivets, do the actual bending, put in the rivets and roughly even out the edges of a sheath. So I won't be doing any time lapses, won't be doing any like longer in process shots, doing and talking. What we will do again, I will put one part through the full pipeline. I will tell you what I am doing, what has been done. And then I will just do all of the work and you will see the end result before the third part. So yeah, and while that is going, sorry, the pressure reducer, I guess, on my receiver on the air compressor. You can see my brain is not working. I cannot speak like working 6 days a week. It's pretty tough sometimes. While I am doing that, what I won't be showing, that I need to do a few photos for the M390 and LMAX Angus. And also I'll be machining some of this steel and turning it into, let me show, it's better to show and not tell, into blanks for varnas, except for the bevel, that are great before heat treatment. So yeah, these will be rough blanks that I will still need to finish out before heat treatment, but part of this process will be done as the pre-orders are running, and one will be pretty special varnas. Yes, we'll see. It might be the Lithuanian Patriotic Team one in MagnaCut, but we'll see how that goes. I cannot promise anything. So yeah, I'll get just the things done that I told now, and we will hop into how I'm bending the sheets. It took way longer to machine this one example than I expected. It took 3 hours, I think. I needed to change some programming and I wanted to sit through all of the program. But the chamfers are okay. They mismatch a little, just a tiny bit on this side, but I will fix everything by hand. I love that we have this inner pocket that is also chamfered, and the whole profile has a very nice feel. So I now trust this program, and I will be running a few blades in the background. I think around 5 or 6 I have prepared. This is how the blanks look. I have a template where I mark what holes I need to drill to put it and locate on my fixture. And basically all of the critical features, all of the features are machined in one operation. So without repositioning the blank, and we can have a pretty darn fine accuracy. And there is little to no deflection, where I do like high-speed machining, where I try to reduce the deflection by going pretty fast but going in very small depths. And yeah, I really dig it. Everything will be cleaned up, the profile, but it's all set in. And I really like this is not a 45 chamfer. This is a steeper chamfer, or less steep, more obtuse, which gives this nice rounding feel from both sides. It's pretty sweet. You can see like the CNC doesn't have a lot of rigidity, so we have some big chatter, but that's like super easy touch to a 400p belt, and we have an accurate dimension part. Now let's go back and start working on these. So the very first step that I will do is I will try and bend it. For bending it, a super simple life hack is just to use a hair straightener. These are super cheap, under 10 euros. This was free because I stole it from my fiance. She was mad about it, but sorry, honey. But yeah, you can see it has pretty wide plates. So I made a small modification. I added a aluminum plate, which is placed here, and it only heats up this place. And this is a very important tolerance part, where you need to have enough Kydex in this trough. So it's very important to R&D your how do you say it? The thing that you put it on, basically the mold. So you have enough spacing here, so after you are heating it up, it allows enough of it to stretch around a knife. So what I will do is just basically place it on here, and that's it. I just wait for it to get a little bit of flop. I will take it off, and I will use an existing knife, Angus, and I will just bend it over and very quickly put in an eyelet, turn around and go to this thing, and I will plop in the eyelet, boom, 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 while folding it and trying to make it as even as possible. So this knife really preserves the tolerances of this sheath. Yeah, so I will do that and I will come back to you. And I did the bend. It was pretty easy. You can see how the edges line up. There is just the smallest misalignment, but that's fine because I make tolerances for these eyelets. You can see there are some artifacts because of the bending, which will get removed, and there is a tiny hole, which is very useful because it allows to escape all of the debris that is inside of the sheath while I'm working with it, but also it will allow for any moisture to escape from any usage, like let's say peeling an apple, or I don't know, being in a moist environment. So it's not just trapping water in these places and even stainless steels, they tend to corrode because they are stainless, not stain-on. Stain-non. And what I will do now is to go over to my grinder, and I am using the biggest wheel that I got, and I am using a, where is the switch? I'm using a 220 240 grit belt, and I go zip 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 all around. I fix up the contours, and even it all out. I use a wheel just because it's super easy to get any of those slight bends, and it's a much less contact area, so it's easy just to play around and avoid unnecessary removal of material. So that is what I will do next. Back from the grinder, you can see the 220 240 looks a little bit rough, but that's pretty fine. Now what I will do is I will finish it out, and I love to use these abrasive sponges that are super duper cheap, and I like to use a lower grit, more coarse than the one that I finished, because it gives like an even grained finish, which looks super nice. What I really hate about Kydex sheets, it's when you have a glossy edge. I think that looks just bad. I think that it looks just bad. So I will do now with this. It only took a few strokes to finish it up. You can see it looks pretty nice, pretty sweet. But I have another finishing step where I use some of my own made Baltic burnish. It's a wax that is made from locally sourced materials. So it's kind of supporting all of the other makers and producers in my area. And this is also good for any knife handles, natural wood products like cutting boards. It's basically food safe, and you just apply it as a nice finish. And it doesn't get hard. You just apply it and remove it, and it just adds a protective coating. So I'll add that to the edges, and we will see the end result. And this is the end result. I really like how it turned a little bit more matte, more vibrant black color. It doesn't seem to rub off, and it looks, I don't know, I had for a couple of weeks some of these sheets, and they still have this beautiful nice color, and I like that it has some of that grain in it from sanding, which looks, I don't know, I hate the polished look. So I think this does look really well. Now I will just blow it out with a compressor, bonk it a little on the table just to make everything, any grit, fall out, and I will add it to the box, process box, and most probably I will just go and bend and just sand all of the edges of these sheets, and then I'll do the finish sanding and applying of the burnish as a last operation. So yeah, I really love how these are coming out. I'm feeling pretty tired. I feel like the 6-day work week is pretty catching up to me, or at least doing this workflow is tiring because I have to walk to the other end of this workshop, so it gets around 15 meters, I guess, for one sheath. So you have just to be constantly moving. And also you can see I got already bad bruising from the arbor press. I always get this. I need to figure out, maybe I can put on more leverage, something that I can pull down rather than push down. That would be much easier on the hands. I have made a big pile of sheaths that I haven't finished their sides. I have only done them to 240, and I have like 9 left still to do, but I call quits for today. I wanna go home. I'm working for myself, I can go home. And I have machined 3 Varna's blade profiles, and I think I'm getting better and better at it. I still need to do more work to them. I need to clean up the profiles, need to clean up the chamfers, do the pre-heat treatment bevels, and sandblast them before I can heat treat them. So even if it is knife shaped, there is still a lot of work to do, especially if I want to clean up all of that shatter that you can shatter. So I'll have to do that too. But I guess that will be time for another day. The next day I will come in here, I will continue to do the sheaths. So just have to get my head down, and this pretty big batch of Angus blades will be done. And I saw, thanks Hannes, you're my man, he bought the very first M390 Angus blade. So we have only one M390 left on the shop and one LMAX. So yeah, that's about it for today. I hope the workflow overview gave you some ideas. And yeah, I hope I don't owe you anything, but I just put out this information because I think that would be useful. And before asking some high theoretical questions, try to put in the work and try what works for you. And because there are a lot of factors that you do not think about and you cannot think about, and you need to do first to see where you stumble. And yeah, that's about it, I guess. Feeling super beat. First time in the vlogging history. So talk to you later, alligators.